Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. On today's episode, I really wanted to go over with you my Lightroom slash Photoshop workflow when I'm using TOPAZ Denoise AI and Sharpen AI. I've been really doing a lot of thinking about these products and how to use them the best in a workflow with Lightroom and Photoshop, and I think I have a pretty good tutorial here that's really going to help you out. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is my Lightroom to Photoshop recommended workflow when you're using TOPAZ Denoise AI and Sharpen AI. All right. Now, the secret here is when you're doing your basic editing inside of Lightroom, and my number one step is Lightroom basic adjustments. And I mean basic adjustments, okay? Because you don't want to confuse Denoise or Sharpen AI when they're doing their job, okay? So you want to keep things basically very simple here in Lightroom, okay? So Lightroom basic adjustments, and then no noise removal or sharpening inside of Lightroom. Now, I have a little tip here for you, and this is the way I do it. I use the default setting of color noise removal. I find that really helps Denoise AI to give you a better result. But you can experiment with that, but I think it makes sense. Now, the next step is apply no extra contrast or presence adjustments in Lightroom, okay? And my note here is they can be added later in Photoshop using the camera raw filter. And the reason I say don't use those adjustments, and those adjustments would be things like adding texture or detail or dehazing, because it's going to probably fool Denoise and Sharpen AI as to how much to adjust your image. So you want to be careful there. So you want Denoise and Sharpen AI to have as much information as they can to work from. So you don't want to artificially change things for them. You want to start out with a nice, good, basic image for them to work with, if that makes sense, okay? And then the next thing I do is always apply lens corrections in Lightroom. And that would be like I have checked on remove chromatic aberration as well as enable the profile corrections. I have that checked on as well. And then after I'm done making these basic adjustments, I'll send this into Photoshop, and then I'll apply either Denoise AI or Sharpen AI or both as needed. And I'll explain how that all works out and how you can know which one to use. But basically what we want to do is send you don't want to send an overly processed image into Photoshop, because once it's in Photoshop, we're going to add the denoising and the sharpening. But next up, I want to show you how I work with Lightroom before I send the image into Photoshop. Here we are inside of Lightroom, and the first thing I like to do is pick a color profile out here. Your profiles are going to be found right here, and see the four little squares here. Click on that, and you have all these different profiles. You have your camera matching profiles, you have your Adobe profiles, and you have a bunch of other profiles that you can pick from as well. I usually like to use the Adobe RAW profiles, and you just hover over these and find one that looks really nice with your image. In my case, I like the Adobe landscape, so I'm going to go ahead and click that and then click on close. So I've picked my profile. And then of course you can come to your white balance. You can click this drop down menu as shot, or you can go to auto, daylight, whatever you like. I usually like to adjust mine manually, so if I'm not happy with it and I think it looks really good, I might just warm it up a little bit. I'll take my temperature and move it to the right just slightly, just to give it a little warmth. I like that. And then if I needed to adjust the tint, I can make it more green, moving it to the left, or more magenta to the right. But I think it looks really good right where it is. And then what I like to do is let Lightroom see what it can do with its auto setting, because it usually does a pretty nice job. And I believe it uses artificial intelligence to do this. So I'm going to click on auto here and see what I get. Okay, so it gave me a little exposure bump. It gave me some extra contrast, which I don't want. Remember, I said I don't want any extra contrast. I'm just going to double click contrast and get that back to 0. And my highlights look pretty good where they're at. And I'm looking at my clipping up here. I'm not clipping my highlights, slightly clipping my shadows, but that looks okay. I'm happy with that. And then so my shadows are at 22. That looks good. My highlights are at -25. The white and black point looks good. I might just move this black point a little bit to the right and get rid of that clipping, because I think that'll help denoise do its job. When it's denoising, it won't be hidden in the blacks, okay? And then everything looks good here. Now, usually Lightroom won't touch the presence like texture, clarity, and dehaze. Leaves that up to you, but I don't like to use that. Remember, that's one thing I'll save for Photoshop, the camera raw filter, if I think I need it. And the vibrance and the saturation look really good. I might just pull my saturation. It's at -6. I might just pull it a little bit to the right, give it a slight bit more saturation, like a -3. I think that looks better. And then I'm not going to use any tone curve, any HSL color or split toning. I'm going to open up the detail and make sure my sharpening is shut off. Make sure my luminance's noise reduction is shut off. Now remember, I told you I like to use the default color setting for color noise, which is the color is set at 25, detail is at 50, and smoothness is at 50. And I like that. You can experiment with that, but I like to leave it on. I think it does a really nice job when it's working with TOPAZ Denoise. And then I like to go to my lens corrections, open that up, and I like to make sure I have remove chromatic aberration checked on, as well as enable profile corrections checked on, and that'll find your lens and adjust the profile corrections accordingly. Now that's all I like to do inside of Lightroom, and then from that point, all I'm going to do is right click on my image and go to edit in, and I'll click on edit in Photoshop 2020. And that'll send my image into Photoshop. Now remember, we just came from Lightroom. We sent our image into Photoshop. Now this is when I want to apply either Denoise AI or Sharpen AI or both. And this information on the screen right now will help you determine which ones to use. You know, do I use one? Do I use two? You know, or whatever. So, number one, if you have no focus issues, in other words, you didn't have camera shake or you missed your focus a little bit, all you need to use is Denoise AI. That's simply all you need, okay? You're going to use noise removal and sharpening inside of Denoise AI. That's the first scenario. The second scenario, you have focus issues. Now, you had camera movement possibly or a misfocus. And these are the things that Sharpen AI can fix, okay? Now, here's a scenario. So you had camera movement or misfocus, and your ISO is 800 or more. Here's what you're going to need to use. Number one, first, you're going to use TOPAZ Denoise AI. You're going to use the noise removal inside of Denoise and the sharpening. And you may say, Dave, why am I using both if I'm going to also use Sharpen AI? Well, I've done experiments, and I'll show you some test results here, but I find I get the best results when I use both noise removal and sharpening. You'll hear other people say, don't do that, but I've done experiments, and it really, really works. I've really worked with it to see which is going to be the best, okay? And then secondly, after you ran Denoise, you want to run Sharpen AI, okay? And you're going to use the sharpening and Sharpen AI as well as the noise removal. Okay, so that's if you have focus issues and your ISO is 800 or more. Now, the third scenario is you have focus issues, camera movement or misfocus, and your ISO is 800 or less. If your ISO is 800 or less, all you need to use is Sharpen AI, because the denoising inside of Sharpen AI is going to work really well for images 800 and under, okay? But experiment with that, but I find I get the best results here. I've even used like 1,000 or lower. That was what I used to say, 1,000 or lower, but I changed that to 800 or lower. I mean, honestly, 1,000 or lower is fine, but let's just say 800 or lower, okay? All you need to use is Sharpen AI. And again, remember, focus issues where you had some camera movement or possibly a misfocus. So just use Sharpen AI, use the Sharpen and the noise removal inside of Sharpen AI. And again, this is only if you have ISOs of 800 or less. And now here we are in Photoshop. Now, I ran this image into Denoise and Sharpen AI 3 different times in 3 different ways of doing it, just so we can compare the 3 scenarios. Now, I want you to know up front that this image has sharpening issues. It had some camera shake. And the ISO was 2000, so it needs both products. It needs Sharpen AI as well as Denoise AI, so I need them both. But I ran them in different ways so we can make some comparisons here. The first time I ran it into Sharpen AI first, and I used no noise removal on it. And then after it came back, I ran it into Denoise AI with no sharpening on it. The second scenario, what I did was I ran it into Denoise AI first. And remember, I feel this is the best way to go. Run into Denoise AI first, but I didn't use sharpening. And then secondly, when it came back, I ran it into Sharpen AI to fix the focus issues with no noise removal. And I thought this would be the best way of doing it, but I thought I'm going to go ahead and try a third way. So my third way of doing it was running it into Denoise AI for the denoising, and then I added the sharpening to it from Denoise AI. And then when it came back, I ran it into Sharpen AI, and I applied noise removal. Now, how did I determine what settings to set on this? I just use the auto settings, and I find for the most part I get really good results with the auto settings. Now, I have other videos showing you how to use Denoise AI and Sharpen AI, and you can go back and watch those videos. But today, I just want to show you these different scenarios and the results that I got, because this software is pretty easy to use, especially if you're using it in the auto. It's really nice, and it works fine just about all the time in auto. We're going to pixel peep here in a second, but look, here's my first scenario. Sharpen AI first, no noise removal. Denoise AI, no sharpening. Not recommended, okay? So don't run Sharpen AI first, all right? Secondly, I ran Denoise AI first with no sharpening, Sharpen AI after that with no noise removal added to it. Results were good, very good results. And then my third scenario was Denoise AI first with sharpening added to the denoising. And then the second scenario, Sharpen AI with noise removal added to it. And this gave me the best results. And now let's do some pixel peeping. And they're close, but you'll definitely see that this one right here is going to give us the best results. And now for some pixel peeping on these 3 scenarios. Remember, this is the first one, which I said is not recommended. Like, you don't want to run sharpening first. You want to run that second, okay? So Sharpen AI I ran first with no noise removal, and Denoise AI with no sharpening, okay? And again, I'm zoomed way into this image. So take a look at the sign and this part of the bridge right here, okay? For all 3 examples. So there's my first example. Here's my second example, which I thought would have been the best. And that's Denoise AI first with no sharpening added to it. And then Sharpen AI applied after that with no noise removal added to it. Definitely is a lot sharper. So again, look at the sign and the bridge here. And now here's the third scenario. You'll see it's going to get sharper. Okay, this is the best. Denoise AI with sharpening added to it, and Sharpen AI with noise removal added to it. So either these 2 scenarios are going to give you the best results. Denoise with no sharpening, and Sharpen AI with no noise removal, or Denoise AI with Sharpen and Sharpen AI with noise removal. So experiment with those, but I feel this is the best scenario. Denoise AI with sharpening added, and then run it into Sharpen after that, Sharpen AI after, and add some noise removal. And I remember I used the auto settings for all of these. So there are my results. So again, let me show you. Here's the first, which was not recommended. The second, it's definitely sharper. And the third, a little bit sharper yet. Well, there it is. That's how I use TOPAZ Denoise AI and Sharpen AI in my Lightroom to Photoshop workflow. And I use these products all the time. And this is the scenarios that I follow when I'm working on my images, depending whether they have camera shake or they don't have camera shake, or what ISOs they were, and so on and so forth. I hope this tutorial really helps you today. get this cemented down for you. If you enjoyed this tutorial today, please give it a like and share it with your friends. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. And then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified about it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today on The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. I'll see you all right here next time, but until then, happy editing.